Hello, this is Coast Guard Blue Star, defender of the equestrian seas, and this be me afterthought review of Pony Point of View, or for those who speak that newfangled texting lingo, PPOV. Argh, this episode features the Mage 6 on a boating trip, which sadly goes terribly wrong, and ends up with a perfectly good boat ending at the bottom of the ocean. And unfortunately, none of their stories tell the same tale. I'll make 'em walk the plank, the scurvy dogs. But regardless, I really enjoyed this episode, because not only did it have some high seas adventure, but it also showed some interesting insight into the Mage 6's true character. I hate to say this, Dr. Wolf, but Applejack don't look or sound anything like Popeye the Sailor Man. She's just been overcome with sea madness, which I've never experienced myself, so I don't know what that would feel like, so argh. And now I gotta break character now because I can't possibly keep up this voice for this entire video. I did like this episode, even though, yes, as Dr. Wolf has said, that yes, we've seen this kind of story many times before in different kinds of television shows, and, you know, that's just sort of the nature of children's television, and that, you know what, there's just some kinds of episodes that shows just constantly repeat over and over and over again, and that's because there's new generations, and in some cases, this is just a lesson that needs to just be taught over and over and over again, even to adults. I mean, certainly the sub-lesson is simply don't jump to conclusions, and the primary lesson is that you have to view all sides of the story sometimes before you can piece together what really happened. And I think sort of that's why this episode is always interesting to me. I'm always trying to figure out what really happened, what's the truth. I think at some point I will make a video about that, but I think not quite right now, because that's gonna be kind of hard. I mean, because yeah, all their stories are really quite different, but there are a few things that are all the same, but not everything. But you really have to stop and look at what do all these stories have in common before you can really find the truth. And I do have to say that I have to kind of agree with Sasa Michon that I would have never seen this coming. It's like, oh, the boat wasn't sunk by Rarity, Applejack, or Pinkie Pie. It was sunk by a Trihorn Bunyip? Huh? Even in my adventures on the sea, I've never heard of such a beast. But I must admit, its appearance was really cool. I still like the way it came up from behind them. Oh, ominous. But it actually turned out to be quite nice. I think it would have been better for the Bunyip to be a little bit more, I'm so sorry, I destroyed your boat and threw you into the ocean, I'm so sorry. But, oh well. And of course, no matter how many times I watch this episode, it's like, yeah, the moment when it's revealed that they weren't stranded in the middle of the ocean, but they sank from like 50 hooves or something from the dock. How did we go to, oh my gosh, I'm drowning, to, wait a minute, I'm standing in 6 inches of water. What? This thing doesn't seem physically possible. Then again, I do remember a moment from an episode of a show called Junkyard Wars, where, long story short, the two teams are carrying out their boats down like a ramp, and all of a sudden one of the members of one of the teams just falls into the water while she's walking down this ramp and goes like, "Ah!" And of course the host goes, "It gets deeper there." And then she says, "Oh my gosh, there's a ledge there." So maybe that's how this has happened. Maybe they're like just on the edge of a ledge and then they put their hooves forward and realize, oh, wait a minute. Possible, but not likely. I mean, I can't help but think that it might have been better for them to just simply have them just like floating in the water and then just simply pull back and then just see like, oh, the dock is 50 hooves away. So, But I do have to say, I think it's funnier the way they did it. Because it really shows is like, not only were we not in the middle of the ocean, but they're not even in danger anyway. Even though I do have to say that, you know, capsizing is pretty much one of the worst things that can happen to you, especially on a boat that big. Oh no. This is one of my weird eccentricities that I almost want to do like a life jacket PSA video. It's like, just wear it! Because they actually needed them this time. And I think I will say here is like, they ironically, probably just by chance, actually hit upon something that is actually a big thing, is that most drownings do not happen out in the middle of the ocean. They happen within 5 feet of safety, usually within 5 feet of the boat, so they actually kind of got it right. Oh dear, so anyway, so that was actually sort of an interesting thought, but anyway, enough of that. That pretty much has nothing to do with this episode, so I must say, as the captain of the fair ship, Razorlight, I do like all this boating and seafaring adventure. Even if my ship be but a little kayak, but oh well, I still like it.
Yes, and it's like, it is kind of a bummer in some ways that the main six are clearly not being very truthful, and you could in some ways accuse them of maybe even lying a little bit. Because, yeah, they were not stranded in the middle of the ocean, but I could also understand why they would not want to admit to any pony that, oh, right, we sank like 50 hooves from the dock. Yeah, let's not tell any pony about that, okay? But yeah, overall, I did like this episode. It was fun, and I do think this is a worthwhile lesson to teach over and over again, because we probably do need this lesson over and over again, so, And I also do kind of like the sub-theme through this episode, and I think kind of most through this whole season of just simply trying something new. All these ponies are going off and doing something they've just simply probably never done before, which is why Twilight's all excited and like, oh, I can't wait to hear about their boat trip. This is gonna be so cool, because they've probably never even seen a boat this big, much less gone boating on one, and they've probably never seen the ocean before, so it's a new and exciting day for them. Yo-ho! So that's cool. I did like how in the end it worked out okay. Even though the main six destroyed a perfectly good boat. Oh. One thought about the boat, I'm pretty certain that it's Applejack's boat, because not only does it have a giant apple on its sail, but she also seems to be basically the captain, and she seems to have done this before, so, I feel another focus on video is like, why did the Apple family have a boat like this, and what did they do with it? But I think that'll be a topic for another video. I think overall, I liked this episode because it was fun, it was kind of cool. I mean, I must admit, I do kind of like the boating stuff. And again, it's something we haven't seen very much of the show. But what they were actually trying to do, I think was pretty good, and I think they accomplished it fairly well, and it was a fun episode, and it wasn't a bummer as it could have been. The main six are all fighting with each other, and it could have been really a downer, but no, they got this just right. You know, I'll consider talking to her if she gives me an apology, as opposed to, like, bitter fighting and, like, rah, rah, rah. I'm glad they didn't do that, because this episode would definitely have not been any fun if they had done that. Overall, I really liked this episode. It's fun. It's not the greatest episode ever, but I still really like it.
So, yo-ho! And here's hoping to see more high seas adventure in the wonderful magical world of Equestria. So, that be the end of me Afterthoughts review of Pony Point of View. So until next time, you scurvy dogs, this is Blue Star. Stay strong and pony on. Blue Star out.